Tonight on Lost Gear, I witness an alien abduction, get attacked by a killer clown, and carry a zombie around. Hello and welcome to this special episode of Lost Gear. In the spirit of the current holiday, let's look at some cars that are very rare and only available for 1 or 2 weeks a year. Tonight we're looking at the Chariot Romero Hearse, the Albany Lurcher, the Albany Franken Stange, and for the very first time we have a motorcycle on Lost Gear, the LCC Sanctus. And as usual, first let's look at the price tags once again. The cheapest, and that by far, is the Chariot Romero Hearse, maybe because it's just that, an average hearse. For just $45,000 this can be yours. Second, we have the Franken Stange. This one's significantly more expensive than the Romero Hearse, as it costs $550,000, which is an awful lot considering its performance, but we'll come to that later on. Let's first take a look at the second most expensive car, the Lurcher. This one's a rather special hearse as it includes a corpse, probably of something created at Humane Labs. And you'll pay for that as well. This one costs $650K. And finally, we have the LCC Sanctus, and oh my, this is another big leap in terms of pricing. The Sanctus costs a whopping $1,995,000, which makes it pretty much one of the most expensive motorcycles there is. Are all of these partly massive costs justified? Well, we'll see at the end of the video when we draw our conclusion. The next thing we want to do is judging how scary these cars look. First up again, let's look at the Romero Hearse. Well, this isn't exactly scary, rather a little classy as you don't want to arrive in a lowrider for your funeral. Nor that you'd even care at that point. Though I have to say, thinking about it, how cool would it be to have your body delivered in a lowrider hopping to some banging tunes? But in conclusion, this is only scary in one situation. Imagine calling an ambulance and describing your symptoms on the phone, and a couple of minutes later, this one pulls over to pick you up. That would be pretty scary. The Franken Stange isn't too scary either, however, it still looks pretty badass. Like if Frankenstein pursued a different career path and became a pimp instead of a doctor. Which wouldn't make sense thinking about it, as he'd never create his monster and then wouldn't be very scary, but you get the idea. Imagine some zombies pulling up in your hood in that thing. That would be hella badass, but not really scary, would it? And now, the Lurcher. Well, we already talked about this one a bit. This is another hearse, but well, it's a little different. It comes in one of 2 spooky liveries, and it includes a corpse. Well, a fake corpse obviously, or at least that's what I hope. And it's a muscle car, which means it handles like absolute dog shite. But at least you can attach a massive intake. This one's pretty cool, so for now it'll receive the highest score in terms of spookiness. And finally, the most expensive one, and let's face it, it is the best looking one as well. And you might feel like this one's familiar, and of course it is. Specially created for Vinewood, it's already found its way onto the big screen. And if you already invested as much as you did for just buying the thing, you should invest just a little more to give it the chrome livery. That looks absolutely badass, and the icing on the cake, the standard red headlights look absolutely cool as well, but be careful, you might attract some killer clowns. And well, if you ever arrive at the situation where you see a horrifying creature riding a skull motorcycle with red headlights coming out of its eyes, while an alien abduction is taking place near you, you probably need to be taking less of what you're taking right now. This is some metal shit going on. And now, without any strange powers at play, let's see which one of these 3 is the fastest on our Ford Zancudo test track. And here we are on our Ford Zancudo test track. On the top left you see the Romero Hearse, top right it's the Franken Stange, bottom left it's the Lurcher, and bottom right it's the Sanctus. And off we go, and we're already underway towards the first corner. Let's see which car comes out the best here, and well, this is quite obvious. The Sanctus already taken the lead by quite some margin, and it will also be by far the first one to reach the Pisswasser chicane. The Franken Stange and the Lurcher pretty close. Looks a little bit like the Franken Stange is ahead. The Romero Hearse is absolutely dead last, so we can almost ignore that from now on. And well, oh my god, look how far the Sanctus is ahead. So the only interesting thing we're watching right now is whether the Franken Stange or the Lurcher will finish first. So this is still very close right now, as now it seems like the Lurcher is slightly ahead, but this still isn't over. However, the Sanctus is already in the final corner, so it will go past the finish line in a couple of seconds now, and there it is. And both the Lurcher and Franken Stange now in the final corner. This is going to be very, very close, but it looks just like the Lurcher has snatched P2 from the Franken Stange, and well, it has. The Romero Hearse, well, we just have to wait a couple of seconds longer, and well, this is quite obvious, the last place for our standard hearse. And let's see where this puts these 4 cars, or 3 cars and 1 motorcycle rather, on our Lost Gear Hall of Fame. And well, no surprises there, we have no car today appearing on the first page. But if we go down to P17, we see the Sanctus, which ranks rather at the top of the sports cars that we've seen so far, so this is a pretty good time, I feel like. So if we'll see other motorcycles in this series, they have quite a good benchmark with the Sanctus. And well, to see the other 3 we have to go very, very far down the order. The Lurcher and Franken Stange we see sitting in P40 and P41. So yeah, the Lurcher, the first muscle car we have seen in this series, not really making an impression. And the Romero Hearse, well, absolutely hopeless, even behind the Brioso 300, so this is pretty much the slowest car that isn't a tank that we've seen so far. And well, it is what it is. And let's also try to draw a conclusion which of these cars is the best, and well, pretty much the pace test decided it all. So the Sanctus wins with 6 points, though it got an absolute 0 for the price tag, which is absolutely ridiculous. And well, the Romero Hearse obviously last, and the Franken Stange and Lurcher pretty equal in P2, so no really big surprises there. So what do we take from that? Well, sometimes you just have to pull out your wallet to really make an impression. And on that wisdom, we end our show. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment which cars you want to see next, subscribe and check out the Lost Gear playlist if you want to see more. Until then, bye bye.